Hi everyone, I'm Jamalyn Largosa and today I will be discussing logical connectives. So a logical connective is the mathematical equivalent of a conjunction in English. It is a symbol used in logic to combine or modify statements. They allow us to create complex statements from simpler ones. The most common conjunction in mathematics are and or, which and is denoted by a small v pointing upwards and or is denoted by a small v. So here are examples of logical connectives. So if two statements are joined like P and Q, if we will use and in the statement, we will replace it with a symbol small v pointing upwards or the and symbol, and or if we use or in the statement, we will just use its symbol, which is the small v. So the statement P and Q is true if and only if both P and Q are true. And in or naman, if the statement P or Q is true if and only if P is true or Q is true, which is taken to include the case when they are both true. So here is the truth table for the logical connectives and or. So the truth table shows the truth value of a compound statement for all possible truth values of its simple statements. So as you can observe, P and Q is only true if the statements P and Q are both true. Then in or naman, if either sa duha P and Q is true, then the answer for P or Q statements is true. So just like in the fourth row of the table, since both P and Q are stating true statements, then P and Q statement is true and P or Q statement is also true. While if we observe the second row, only Q is true. So P and Q statement is false and P or Q is true. Next is we have the implications. Implications. Suppose P and Q are propositions. The proposition P with a symbol of arrow pointing to the right, Q, is read as if P then Q, is called an implication. So P is called the premise and Q is called the conclusion. So other ways of reading P then Q are P implies Q, Q if P, Q is implied by P, Q only if P. So here is an example of implication. In ordinary language, statements like if it rains, then I bring my umbrella is an implication. So if it rains statement is the P or the premise, while I bring my umbrella is the conclusion. So P then Q is true if the premise is false and Q or the conclusion is true.
Good day, I am Jadel Cantiga, and today let us tackle about converse, inverse, and contrapositive and what's their difference. Let's discuss first the inverse of a conditional statement. When we say inverse, we negate both the hypothesis and the conclusion. So for example, we have an implication if P then Q, where P serves as the hypothesis and Q as the conclusion. So if we apply the inverse of a conditional statement, it would become if not P, then not Q. Second is the converse. When we say converse, we switch the order of the hypothesis and the conclusion. So if we have if P then Q, it would become if Q then P if we apply the converse of a conditional statement. And the last one is contrapositive. When we say contrapositive, we switch the order of the hypothesis and the conclusion while negating both of them, both the hypothesis and the conclusion. For example, we have an original implication. If P, then Q. So if we apply the rule of the contrapositive conditional statement, then it would become if not Q, then not P.
Hello everyone, my name is Faith Marie C. Aso and I'm going to report on quantifiers. Quantifiers describe the variables in a statement. There are two types of quantifiers. First is the universal and existential. The universal quantifier is usually written as for all or for every in English and is denoted by the symbol A nga bali or suli. The existential quantifier is expressed as there exists or for some and is denoted by E, pabaliktad. In short, universal quantifiers are generalization while the existential quantifiers refer to at least one instance. That's all. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Marian Gretel P. Cabando and today I will be talking to you about the compound quantifiers. So when we are talking about compound quantifiers, it is when you are using two or more quantifiers. So there are two types of quantifiers, which is the existential and universal quantifiers. So the order is crucial when we are using the mixed quantifiers. So when we are talking about mixed quantifiers, it is when you are using the existential and the universal quantifiers. So it must be in order. When we are talking about same quantifiers, it is when you are using both universal quantifiers and both existential quantifiers. So that would be all. Thank you.